In this video help, I'm going to show you how to set up a new appointment. In the last video you saw where we had an appointment set up. I'm going to do this in two different ways. I'm going to show you a current appointment, and then I'm going to show you how to create a new appointment. So let's go ahead and go in and look at a current appointment. You will be clicking on this arrow. When you click on the arrow, it's going to bring up this screen so you can see the screen with the information on it for this appointment. Move it over a little bit so it covers this part. This actually is set up so you can have it on the cloud. These submit button and cancel buttons are not normally used so that they're when you're on the iPad or on the standalone runtime app, these will not be used because as you go through the individual fields, it will automatically save the fields as you go through them. One of the things I want to point out on this is the European date schedules. Even this particular one is the Australian version that I'm working in right now. These dates are European dates, and all the money symbols for Europe would be different. If this were Europe, they would be euros or pounds sterling. So there's a different version of this app that covers those. As you come into the appointment, I have the word test appointment in here, or test record. Basically what you do when you come in is if you have a client already, and this is going to be a service that you're going to do, you would put the name of the person or the type of service that you're going to do with the name after it, either one way or the other. Then what you would do is if it's a current client, this drop down here would be a list of drop down for individual clients. This is if it's an individual client that is also a business owner where you may be using the business to pay for their services. So let's go ahead and in this particular appointment, the time and date are added by using drop downs. And basically what it does, it provides you the calendar. And in here what you would do is go ahead and type in the time of the day, either AM and PM. If needed, you can type in 24-hour date times if that's required. There's an estimation that is usually used more for a different kind of a business where you're estimating labor time over a period of days. There's a drop down over here where you can add your own information by editing it. For appointments, there may be certain things that you need to do. And there's an additional field on this side where you can continue like pending and put why is it pending. Now in this area, which is quite important, this allows you in this area to have as many calendars as you need. And as you create an appointment, then you pick what calendars that appointment needs to go to. For example, if it's an in-service in your own business or outside, that would be checked. Not normally would you see it checked in both because you wouldn't be doing it in both. But if it's going to the reschedule calendar, rental calendar, pickup, or contact and delivery, you would go ahead and put those additional check boxes in as required. There's also a to-do records list here, and I'll get into this further, basically because what happens if you have a situation where you have an appointment and you need to track information about it here in narrative and then put specific things about each time some event occurs, you would put it in here and you just type it into this space because this is automatically entered. This is the last date and time that this appointment information was added. If you want to delete a line, you hit the X box out here at the end and that deletes it. To add another individual line below this one, you would hit the plus sign over here and then it would add another line below here. There's also a work log, and in the work log it's usually entered by whoever is currently logged in. It'll put them in as the person that created the work log. This is the start date, a description of something that needs to be done, and the time you actually spent. Now this is normally done as a part of this estimation up here. If you're doing a task where there's a task kind of a thing where you're estimating certain time here and then actually putting it in here, it will reduce the amount of time in this number and put a completion bar at the top where it's measuring the actual amount of time remaining at the top. That might be important to somebody, but it's in there in case you need it. In addition to that, we'll cover this part later. This is a part of another process that we're going to be talking about. We'll get back to this. That covers this particular screen with the exception of the buttons at the top. Normally when you come into this screen and you're creating an appointment, you can go exit it right back out of the calendar by hitting the close button. Or if you want to go to the back end of the application where all the information is about the clients and this area that we're going to talk about later, you would go ahead and either hit the booking to see all the clients, or you would click this button to go into the main menu of the application where it shows all the different screens you can access. If you had to delete a record, you can click the delete. It's not a good idea to delete everything in your system. It's a very bad idea, in fact, the way this is architected, because as you create appointments, you want to keep a history of where they came from, what days, and if they were completed and so forth, and how they were added to the calendar. This takes very little hard drive real estate to keep the information in there, so I would not delete them unless there was an error or the record was something you started to create and decided not to create it, and you just went ahead and deleted it. So let's go back out to the main screen, and you can see now that we've got the appointment in here. The way you create a new one is to click this button here and create a new one. It will immediately go to that screen you were looking at, only it will be titled New Appointment. On the New Appointment screens, what happens is you're adding either a new client, and I'm going to talk about how to do that. If you have a new appointment, as you can see a title above here, New Appointment, you're actually adding a new appointment, but if you did not have a current customer and you had to add them because they're not on the list, what you would do is go ahead and use the main menu or the booking, and in this case I'd probably use booking, to go in right into the customer area and create that customer, and then go back in here and create the actual new appointment, and then create the customer and name if it's got a business name with it as well. The reason for that is if you don't have a customer, you need to create them if you don't have them already. So if you're getting new clients, add them to your database so they're included into the customer area. If you have any more questions or stuff that I didn't cover, and of course, as I'm leaving this, I meant to say that you also can put in a repeating thing. Now, this is not something we normally do, but this would be where you put one or a certain number of days. You can click back in here and put in how many occurrences, either on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, or years, that this thing would repeat. And I don't think a lot of our customers are going to use that, but it is available. If you have any questions, please send me an email or contact me on Skype. Thank you.